Good day and welcome to our 10-minute video series. My name is Mary Jane Rodriguez and I'm doing this for Ultimate Access. Welcome to our first video in the series. This video covers the SEMA Management Case Study exam that will happen in August 2018. Our pre-scene company for today is a company called Montel. Montel is a camera manufacturing company as well as a distributor based in a fictitious country called Farland. I hope you have had the chance to grab yourself a copy of the pre-scene material that was made available by SEMA. If you have not, please visit the SEMA Connect website to try and get yourself this copy. Our topic for today is the P2 syllabus topic D, part 2. Now, topic D, part 2 discusses management's responsibilities with regards to risks. In particular, we're going to look at Section B. Section B discusses the risks associated with the collection and use of information, specifically big data. So what do we know about big data? A little bit of big data knowledge is that big data are large sets of data that are analyzed so that we are able to reveal patterns or trends or associations with regards to human behavior as well as interaction. These data sets are huge and complex that a normal data processing software would not be able to actually weed through this information to provide us with meaningful results. It needs a special kind of software or a hardware to actually get through big data. Now, how did big data get these 3 V's? For volume, it relates to the huge amount of material and information that big data is and how the company can use this information and extract value from it. Velocity relates to the speed that data is generated as well as exchanged, both inside and outside the organization. Now, if you really think about it, velocity also deals with, information is made available to us almost every second, every minute. And so as such, the sooner we get the information, the quicker we can make decisions. Variety relates to the range of data types and sources that are available for the company. This also covers structured data and unstructured data. Now, structured data are coming from transaction records that we have in the company, historical data. Unstructured data comes from maybe perhaps social media when we look for information through social media to try and find out trends or patterns. Some more big data knowledge, where do we use big data? Mostly, big data is used for decision making. We use a large amount of information and we try and make it into meaningful reports or meaningful analysis so that we are able to make decisions that are important to the company. Sometimes we are developing new products or services. Big data can help us as well to look at whether we should actually go for certain new products or new services. Is it really needed? Is it relevant? Would it prove to be successful for the company? These are things that big data can help us on. Marketing as well. We are able to find out what the customers want, what the customers really need by listening to big data. Sometimes we also use big data for detection of fraud. Big data can look through a lot of information and can flag certain exceptions that happens within the company because it looks at trends and patterns, right? So it can look at maybe if something is out of pattern or if there's a pattern where it's going there's an adverse pattern happening within the company. Big data can detect that. Lastly, we also use big data for managing human resources. So big data looks at human behavior and looks at patterns, looks at human behavior and interaction, and so as such is able to uh, is able to help when we're managing our human resources. Some of the risks when we actually use big data is that we lost agility when we are using big data. The reason here is that big data is a huge amass of data, and as such, sometimes it takes some time to weed through all the information to find out which is relevant for our decision. So we lose that agility, we lose that speed because we take time to analyze the data. Growth in regulatory complexity. As we use big data more in business operations and in the way we run businesses, if a certain business is under regulatory rules, then there would be more regulations surrounding big data and the use of big data. What is acceptable and what is not? What is legal and what is not? Another risk is the loss of information security. Because we use big data, we use Internet of Things, if we are not careful, we could leave ourselves open to be hacked. We house a lot of information. We look at stories now where companies collect a lot of information about their users or customers, and we could be hacked, and those information that were given to us, or that were actually maybe not even just confidential but private information, could go out into public, and we have to be careful when we're dealing with big data. Big data also increase our costs because we would need more storage facility for the data that we are putting together, that we are collecting. We'll need good server, good infrastructure to house the data that we need, to store them, to run them, to try and analyze them. These are certainly things that not a normal data processing software can do. So which means that if you need something special or something else to run it, a more sophisticated kind of machine, then it costs more for the company. And lastly, another risk is an over reliance on the data at the expense of experience. We rely too much on the data because the data tells us something. It might not be tried and tested. There might be somebody who's already had experience with something, and so as such, sometimes experience is always a good basis when we're making decisions as well. So why did we choose big data for today? Our pre-scene knowledge shows us some risks at the end of the pre-scene, which talks about what risks are facing our pre-scene company, Montel. We have accessories happening, some of cameras. A competitor is selling cheaper cameras. One other competitor is trying to gain more technology driven kind of products, more technologically advanced product, as well as there are substitutes for that actually threaten our market position. These are things, they talk about risks, but they talk about trends, and they talk about what the customers want. So it's information that gets filtered through. There are many other things aside from this information from the pre-scene material. We must remember we live in a digital age now. Our world is at the digital age, and so as such, Internet of Things is very important. Information is at the tip of our fingers. As with our 10-minute video series, we always have a mini question and answer at the end. Gives us a scenario with our pre-scene material, and I put together a little bit of answer plan and an answer in the end. So today's question talks about the Director of Finance emailing you about the following. We currently have excess monies available. The board has decided to use these extra funds for developing new enhancements to include on our next camera model. Some enhancements that we could invest in are replacing shutter button with voice command, changing the camera size to be lighter, smaller, and ultra compact. Number 3, unlimited battery power with the use of solar energy cell. We only have enough to invest in one enhancement. So to help with the choice, I am considering organizing some big data research to give us greater insights into our customers' photography requirements. It may help to understand which enhancement will the customers find most appealing to entice them to buy. We could probably draw upon a competitor analysis to see what our competitors are offering that we aren't, and vice versa. I need your help on this. Please email me your thoughts on what sources of competitors and customer analysis should we use. And please include the possibility of using big data and look at other useful sources of information. I would highly encourage students that when you are faced with a question, that you write an answer plan. Some of the simple steps to writing an answer plan is to pick out the text, which shows you what the requirements are. You build your responses around the requirements. You write down 5 to 6 points for each requirement. The more the better, of course, but always be reasonable that you have enough time to write your points out and that you're able to explain all your points. And of course, lastly, you list down all the keywords and theories that you may want to use for your answer. My answer plan will look something like this. I would always start with an intro, and my intro is an introduction, and my intro will be on big data and how it helps with competitor and customer analysis. I'll look at competitors to look at what do I really need to talk about? What do they offer as products, their distribution channels, and price points? And then I'm going to look at competitors' source of information. That would be magazine articles, maybe product reviews, competitor websites, or I visit their actual stores. Then I look at customers. Okay, I need to identify customer groups that are specific to my market. And then I'd look at customer sources of info. How do I get information from the customer? I would probably do a survey or questionnaire to them. And then other sources of info, in the end, I'd probably look at social media, something like Twitter or Instagram. I'd also look at likes and dislikes and views on the various social media platforms. So how do I make the answer plan into an answer? This is how I'll do it. Here's my answer. It has been suggested that Montel should use big data to help us narrow down the choice of which enhancement to develop. Big data is a useful tool in drawing up the profiles of customers and competitors by using various sources of information. Knowing what the customers want and what competitors are doing right will be good for us strategically. With regards to competitors, Montel needs competitor information on products offered, distribution channels used, and price points set. The most accessible information is available by visiting competitor stores, observing all relevant information such as service approach. Competitors' websites may also provide useful information on current developments and future intentions that have been made public. Magazine articles and product reviews are also important as they provide public comments and camera model specifications. Market research information can also be obtained from specialist research organizations, but this often comes with a fee. With regards to customers, Montel requires information on which enhancements would prove to be popular, beneficial, or wanted by customers. It is important to classify customers into appropriate groups so further analysis can be done. Enthusiasts and casual photographers will likely have different requirements and expectations. Some of the best source of information is likely to be from the customers themselves via questionnaire, a survey, or online feedback. We could task our customer representatives to reach out to past customers to give us comments on improvements they'd like to see in their future cameras. Social media, Twitter, and photo sharing sites like Instagram are really good sources of big data information. They can all provide important data on trends and preferences. An effective way of collating information would be to search on certain keywords or follow the use of hashtags, especially on Twitter. The number of likes and views of different photography-related posts could prove to be useful too. And that is it for our 10-minute video for today. I hope you enjoyed our first offering, and we hope to see you on the next one. Good luck with your preparation, and see you soon.